Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today, I'm excited to share with you guys another watch by Aragon. Aragon watches. If you're just finding my channel now or this video and you haven't checked out Aragon, it's the holiday time. If you were looking to get a gift for somebody in your life, whether it be yourself, a brother, father, whoever, and you're thinking, maybe a watch, I always recommend INVICTA, but definitely check out Aragon. I've been a fan of their watches for a long time, and this watch is awesome. And this is one that I reviewed in the past in a different model, and this is called the Charger. Or not different model, but different variation of this watch. One thing Aragon does is they may make the Charger, they may make it in a quartz, an automatic, and then of course this one here, which is the T-100 Tritium tubed version. If you're unfamiliar with Tritium, well, here's what Tritium is, right off the website here, right off Wikipedia. So Tritium is a radioluminescence that is used in naturally, a lot of gun sights use them for firearms, watches naturally use them, and it is a radioactive isotope of hydrogen to create visible light. Tritium emits electrons through beta decay, and when they interact with phosphorus material, light is emitted through the process of phosphorescence. So this thing always glows. You don't have to have this out in the sunlight. This thing will glow. I believe the lifespan on Tritium, I think, is over 20 years, I think, but don't quote me on that. But it's going to last you a really long time regardless, and it never has to be in the light to maintain a charge. You know, a lot of the watches with lume, you have to get them in the sunlight or some kind of light, and they glow, kind of like glow in the dark, for a certain amount of time, which I've always found to be not that long. I think the best watch I have with lume is my Aqua Dive, and that one, that's a pretty expensive watch. That definitely is the best lume. I mean, you go out in the sun with that, you bring it inside, and the thing is glowing. But again, none of them really last that long. With the exception of Tritium, this is the flat tube version. So all the indices have Tritium, and I believe on this they've used it on the bezel, but don't quote me on that because I haven't actually had the chance to check this out. We are in the middle of the daylight here, so putting my hand over it and checking it out, I don't really know if the numbers are glowing because of the Tritium or because of the light coming in the window. But nonetheless, I know the indices are actually flat Tritium tubes, and those will always glow. So I actually had this the other night. I just don't remember if I had it next to the bed, and I was looking at it, and at night this thing will never stop glowing. So it can be in complete darkness, you're always going to have a glow. Now, in my opinion, it's not as bright as if you were to take one of their other watches, get in the sun, then go right inside. It's a dim glow, but it's a glow strong enough where you can read it legibly in complete darkness, and it'll never go out. I mean, maybe at some point, maybe over the 20-year mark, but it's not going to go out, within a reasonable amount of time. So a little bit more about the watch. Let me go back to the site here. I'm going to tell you all about this watch here. Again, Aragon Charger T100 flat tube automatic. This is powered by a Seiko NH36 24 jewel movement. You have an exhibition window and a screw-down case back. They use a K1 hardened crystal. It's kind of what Aragon uses as opposed to sapphire. It's kind of Aragon's version of a hardened crystal. I have this on many Aragon watches. I've never scratched one to date, or any watch for that matter. It is a non-rotating bezel. This is done in an all-flat black, and you can see that awesome chain link bracelet. I always say on this watch, if you know a guy in your life who's a motorcycle lover, a Harley rider, this would be a fantastic watch for a guy who's into motorsports or motorcycles. You have that awesome bike chain, or even a bicyclist. This thing is actually, awesome looking. It's heavy, it's big, it's bulky, it's chunky, it's very masculine, and I think that any guy would love this watch. It is something I'll pick up at a later date. Again, tactical version, or your, what they would INVICTA refers to as their combat edition. Aragon doesn't refer to it as that, but that's pretty much what it is. You have that matte black finish everywhere. Love the band because there's not a lot of wiggle to it. It's very tight, it's very solid. It's just an awesome watch. Face on this here is pretty basic. You just have kind of like a almost sandblasted ring in the middle, and kind of like some repeating rings, almost like a record around the edges, something Aragon does in a lot of their watches. Your day of the month, your day of the week, and of course your time, your single time zone. Side of watch, it's a basic watch, no rotating bezel. It's not even really an attached bezel. It looks like it's actually, no, it is an attached bezel. It almost looks like it was part of the case there, which it's hard to see if it's actually made out of one piece. At your 12 o'clock position, you do have a slightly discolored tritium tube, which glows more of like a little bit of an orange hue to it. You have tritium on the actual hands. So like I said, this thing is just glowing at night. Again, not super bright, like you're not going to be wearing it on your wrist to be blinded by it or anything like that, but it's subtle and you'll be able to read it and see it in complete darkness. Alright, so a little bit more on the specs before I show you what it looks like on the wrist. Again, that's 24 joules Seiko NH36. Japanese is the country of manufacturing for the movement. Naturally, dial color is black. Case measurement is 50 millimeters by 17 millimeters in case thickness, which I was actually surprised at that number because I just don't think that's 17. I think that might be a typo on that. Let me double check that real quick. Put a ruler on this. 17 is getting kind of thick, but that might be including the case back. It's hard. I should get a caliper at some point, but I don't have one now, so yeah, it is 17. So they're taking in consideration the case back on here, which does hang down past the case a little bit. So you do have a full 17 millimeters of case thickness. Not an overly huge watch, but still anything at 50 millimeters is fantastic. 9 1/4 inches in length on the band, 26 millimeters in width, and your push button deployment. 10 ounces on this here. On weight, so not a super heavy watch, but again, not light either. 660 feet of water resistance, 20 ATM or 200 meters. And this is some of the additional information that it says flat tritium gas tube, 11 pieces green, 1 piece on the orange, which is at your markers. Silver hour and minute hands applied with tritium green gas tube. Red second hand is applied with tritium orange tube. So I didn't know that actually, because I haven't really observe this too much at night. So on your second hand, you'll have a little bit of orange tritium on the 12 o'clock, and then everything else is your green tritium. So you have a little bit of contrast on that, which I think is awesome. Guys, awesome watch, super masculine, super bold, and definitely check it out. Like I said, if you got a motorcycle lover, motorcycle rider, this is a great gift for that person. Pricing this here, because the tritium is more expensive watch to manufacture. You'll get it $550 for this watch off the Aragon website. I will put a link on eBay if it is cheaper. You will have a link in the description where you can pick this up for a lesser price. And there it is, guys. Let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist. It is a screw down crown as well. I have a 7-inch wrist. I'm about 5'7½", and I weigh about 170 pounds. So as I always say, all these watches look pretty big on me. And I mean, you really can't ask for a more tactical watch. I love the fact that the only other color on this watch is the tritium, which I think is awesome. Now, it didn't mention that it was on the bezel, so I'm pretty sure this is probably some sort of lume, but I'll have to get this in the dark, and I'll put a note in the description if I find that this is actually tritium on the numbers or if it's just tritium on the indices and hands. I'm pretty sure that the material used on the bezel for the numbers is actually just a lume and not tritium. But really awesome looking. I mean, super tactical, super aggressive, super just dark. Alright guys, well there it is, and I'm sorry it's not sized, but I'm not going to size this because this is on loan from Aragon Watches, and I want to thank them once again for their generosity in sending me a nice steady supply of their brand for me to share with you guys. Just a great brand, super great quality. Like I repeat myself a lot, but it's really hard for you to walk into any store in the mall and pick up a watch with this kind of quality and caliber for the price that these guys are offering their product for. It really is exceptional. And again, you pay a little more for this one just because of that tritium. If you like this watch, you want to pick it up in a quartz or just a regular automatic movement without the tritium, you can do that for a much cheaper price, but the tritium's pretty cool. If you're a guy who likes to be out in the darkness, a hunter, whatever, this is a great watch because you're always going to be able to see the time on this. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video. Find me on my Facebook page. I just linked that in the description. I put all my links in that description for products and, of course, where to find me. Guys, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the love. And as always, guys, comment, like, subscribe, and have a great day. Take care.